A good Erev Shabbos, everybody. As good as can be right now as I'm recording this in real time. Chizbah, Yamach Shimon, Zichram have also invaded from the north. Es Tzareth Yaakov. It's a very complicated day for me, aside from feeling the pain of Am Yisrael. It's also the yahrzeit of my mother, Allah Sham. So, of course, the schos of this, you know, of all the shurim that we're going to give today, should also be Lilui Nishmasa. Right, so it's first so it's supposed to be Lilui Nishmas Imi Morasi Shalom Spasarav Dov Yehuda, and of course for the reason why we started the whole series is that should be for the Hatzal of Klal Yisrael. Reishis Chochma is a sefer that every page gives new Yiras Shamayim, and it's heavily based on Zohar. So you have the Skula of the Koch of the Sefer Azor, which destroys the Chitzonim, right, including the Hamasnikim and all the terrorists. And Ben Yivkun Megalusa Barachim is what saves from Chevlei Mashiach. So get out of this Galus Barachim, we need that so badly. And so my mother also on this day have a Liasat Shabbat. That'd be Mele Tziyosher for Klal Yisrael. Maybe she should ask the Riboshel. She should ask the Kisekot to let her ever go at the Hamasnikim. She was the toughest person I know. She would kick their butts. Kenny Rodson. Okay, so everything should be good. Without further ado, we continue with Reishis Chochma. So we're still in Akdama. And we're in the new edition. It's like Sif Tes Vav. So it says the Reishis Chochma. V'afal pisha, right? It's got lost place. V'afal pisha mamar niskar nire shator shkua b'maisa k'maisa v'atal gorbeish maisa. So now, even though from all the Zohars that we were quoting, Chazals and Zohars that we quoted until now, we saw that the Torah is as big as Maisa, and Torah is, but it's as big as Maisa when it's, when it's learnt Lishma, and Lishma means Amanas Lasos, and also Talmud Gadol, Talmud Shemevli De Maisa. We saw that what makes Torah even bigger than your average mitzvah is that it, aside from being a mitzvah in its own right, it is Mevli De Maisa. It enables you to keep all the Maisim. So even though Gdol Talmud Shemevli De Maisa, so Torah has to be Amanas Lasos. If it's Amanas Lasos, it itself is like a Maisa in addition to the learning, right? And it brings to Maisa. But even with all those truths, there's another truth, not to the exclusion of those truths. Mikol Makom Matzinu Sheknias Chamabo Ayedei Maisa. If you want to be Kaina Olam Haba, that's Dafka Yedei Maisa. Right, and he brings a raya that the Rambam darshans on extensively in his Pirush HaMishnayos, and we'll Lilui Nishmas Maimah, we're going to add a lot to what the Reishis Chochma is going to say. But first, let's first read the lashon of the Gemara that the Reishis Chochma is going to come in. Perka Kamad Avodas Zara. I was saying the first Perka Avodas Zara. I forgot himself. K'shechala Reb Yossi ben Kisma, when Yossi ben Kisma was ill. Halach Rabbi Chanina ben Tran Levakro, so Chanina ben Tran went to do Bikur Cholim. So Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yossi, there's a whole exchange over there. How Rabbi Chanina, Yossi ben Kisma is asking Rabbi Chanina if it's wise what he's doing, that he's teaching Torah to publicly when the Romans outlawed it, And Chanina ben Tran nonetheless was, put his faith in God. There's a whole exchange over there, which is worthy in its own right, but he's jumping straight to the end of the exchange. So Rabbi Chanina ben Tran subsequently died al Kiddush Hashem, subsequently asked Rabbi Yossi, Mani l'chaylam ba, you think I'm going to make it to Olam Haba? Amar lo. So he told him, Klum Maisa ba liyadcha. Did you ever do anything good in your life? But listen to the words of God. Klum Maisa ba liyadcha. Ever do anything good? Did you do a good deed ever? Amar lo, he told him, Mos shel purim nischafu, Mos shel tzedakah. right? Yes, indeed. I'll tell you a good deed that I think I did. One thing that I did right in my life. Money of Purim, Suda, money for Purim got, mixed up with the money of tzedakah. V'chilakti money, but I gave the whole thing to tzedakah. I didn't leave anything for myself. Once it got mixed up, I didn't say, even that at least this much for sure is mine for Purim. I gave the whole thing to the Aniyim. Amalo, and so I told him, Cain, so Yosef ben Kisma said, okay, if so, I should be so lucky as you. My portion your portion should be my portion. Your lot should be my lot. All right. So now, what he wants from this Gemara before he moves on to other Gemaras that prove this point is that Chanina ben Tran, one of the big Tanoim, and he was teaching Torah Barabim, and he subsequently, later he died on Kishem, which is a Maisa, but it had not happened yet, right? So now, he still was worried if he's going to make it to Olam Haba, and he said, "Did you ever do anything right?" Chanina ben Tran, did you ever do anything right? So now, the Rambam in his Pirush HaMishnayos, and actually what Rambam is a Gemara, right? But so where does he address it in his commentary on the Mishnah? In the last Mishnah on Makkas, the famous Mishnah we say at the end of a parak of Pirkei Avos, because who wanted to give more, increase the merit of Am Yisrael, and therefore he gave them a lot of Torah mitzvahs. So all the Mepharshim asked the same question, right? Counterintuitive, right? You want us, I want to get 100 on a test, right? I want to be Zakah, so give us less mitzvahs. Like you're more bound to get 100 on a test if there's only 10 questions on the test, as opposed to you ask 100 different questions, we'll get a lot wrong, right? Seemingly they'll make the Torah easier to keep, and then we'll be Zakah. So why make the Torah seemingly harder to keep by doing a Taryag mitzvahs, right? 613. So on this, the Rambam references this Gemara, and he says, no, even one Maisa Doma, like it says, Klum Maisa Baliyadcha. Did you ever do anything right? Even one time, right? Says the Rambam, one Maisa done right, but done 100% right, Lishma, with Mesiras Nefesh, no ulterior motives, right? Just that one time could get you a Chel Kol Haba, right? And out of 613 different mitzvahs, so you have a whole smorgasbord of different types of it. One you'll get right. That's Rambam's approach. So now, of course, that Rambam is on the one hand a messenger, but on the other, it's a double-edged sword, that Rambam. Because it says you have to do a single mitzvah one time, but perfect. Like how many people could say they've done anything perfect? We do our mitzvahs. We're talking about like it should be, with Mesiras Nefesh, Lishma, they get no credit for it, no ulterior motives. It can be very frightening, that Rambam also, because you may do a lot of mitzvahs. How do you know you ever did any one perfectly? But one mitzvah done perfectly once is good enough. All right, and he learns it from this Gemara, the Rambam. He brings that Gemara in the Pirush HaMishnayos. And that's a shot. From 613 different types of mitzvahs, you're bound to have your mitzvah that you excel at. You just have to excel at it once. Right? So now they ask a stira, and I deal with this in my Sefer Evan Shasia on the Yud Gimel Ikrim, which I put on sale today in honor of my mother's yahrzeit. Speaking of which, I actually have a book that I had published in honor of my mother. It's my book on Reishis. It's available on Amazon. You type in Evan Shasia, it should come up. Or you type it in Hebrew, the Hebrew name of the book, Machol HaShulamis, The Dance of the Beauty, Machol HaShulamis, Al Shem Ma'atachzu B'Shulamis HaKuchas Machnaim, which I put out in memory of my mother, and it's on Reishis that we're just starting again now. How apropos, my mother's, that year was before Parshas Noach that she was niftaris, but this year yahrzeit comes out Erev Shabbos Parshas Reishis. How apropos! So get that sefer, nishmas my mother. Anyways, but in my sefer on the Yud Gimel Ikra, my other sefer that was on sale today in honor of my mother's yahrzeit, we deal with the famous theory, Shaban living person, right? A thinking person, I should say. You have to forgive me. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed out because of what's going on, and I'm fasting. So please, if I'm a little bit slurred in my speech or a little bit, not on my A game, please be understanding. Anyways, the going back to we raised the question other people raised. There's a stira, right? There's a contradiction because the Rambam writes in the Pirush Mishnayos in Sanhedrin, on the Mishnah Kol Yisrael Shem Chelko, all Yisrael is a Chelko, and the Rambam's take on is that anyone who believes in Yud Gimel Ikrim is promised a Chelko Haba, and we deal with that because our Sefer is on Yud Gimel Ikrim, and the Rambam over there supposedly says anyone who just believes in Yud Gimel Ikrim, which is to accept the Torah as absolute truth. Maybe we should work on that. With the Torah that we're going on, maybe I should also add teaching the Yud Gimel Ikrim to all the different special shurim that we're giving, because anyone who just believes in Yud Gimel Ikrim has a guaranteed Chelko Haba. Right, so Rambam in Mishnayos in Sanhedrin on the Mishnah, which ironically these are the two Mishnayos that we say before and after every parak and Pirkei. We open with Kol Yisrael Yeshem Chelko Haba, and we end off with Rav Chanan ben Akash Omer, and in the Rambam's Pirush on these respective Mishnayos is an open contradiction. Kol Yisrael Yeshem Haba is anyone who believes in Yud Gimel Ikrim, and then Rav Chanan ben Akash Omer, that Mishnah that comes to the end of Makos, right? The Rambam says over there, you got to do a ma'aseh. Believing Yud Gimel Ikrim is not enough, seemingly. Got to do a ma'aseh. You got to do it perfectly, which could also be pretty scary, because we do a lot of mitzvahs. Have we done any one perfectly? So the way we resolve the contradiction over there is that there's different levels of connection to Olam Haba. Right, you get Olam Haba, on faith alone, but it's not an honorable acquisition of Olam Haba. It's more charity than it is rightfully earned, right? So there is a certain aspect of earning it because you believe in Yud Gimel Ikrim, right? And that's and it's very meduic in the lashon of the Mishnah, and in the lashon Rambam, Yeshlem, you have Olam Haba, right? But to really deserve Olam Haba, to really deserve it, not just to have it, but to really deserve, like to not just, it's kind of like the difference between, going to Olam Haba on public housing. You're there as like Section 8 in Olam Haba, HUD in Olam Haba. That's a person who lives in Yud Gimel Ikrim, because less than that, ain't going to Olam Haba, period. But, Yud Gimel Ikrim, makes you enough of a, person that you could get into Olam Haba, like kind of get it there, like you have a Chelko Haba and a section, kind of like Section 8 HUD, right? As opposed to your Zochel Olam Haba. That's also in the Rambam there in the Pirush Mishnayos on Makos on Rav Chanan ben Akash, Zochel Olam Haba. You really own it, right? You're not. There's no element of kindness or element of being graded on a curve. You have really earned it and acquired it. Right, and that's what the Rambam says in it over there. Zacha, not just that. And as per the Mishnah, Ratzakoshu Lizako says Yisrael. So one is Yesh, you have Olam Haba, right? Less than Yud Gimel Ikrim, you ain't going to Olam Haba. Yeah, Kol Yisrael, which is anyone who believes Yud Gimel Ikrim, Yesh Olam Haba, and that's also Rambam also his Pirush Yesh Lo Olam Haba, Yesh Lo Chelko Haba, and this is Ratzakoshu Lizako to merit. And that's also in the Pirush Zacha L'Olam Haba, right? And this is and this also resolves a different issue, because we should not confuse Olam Haba with immortality, because it's very clear from the Rambam and from the Mekubalim that or just with learning Torah, or just just with knowing the truth of Torah, you become immortal. And that's quite mafurish in the Rambam in a lot of places. All right? Okay, but you could be immortal, but you don't go to Olam Haba. You could be immortal and just hang out. Hang out in limbo, right? Yeah, so immortality gets from the truth, having some Torah truths in your head. Truths, acquiring truths make you immortal, but it doesn't give you entry to Olam Haba. You can be immortal and be barred from entering Olam Haba. And so Dafka, not just knowing some truth, but knowing the truths of the Yud Gimel Ikr, which is knowing that the Torah is true as an absolute truth, right? So you could go into Olam Haba, right? And then but if in addition to that, you actually do a Maisa B'Shleimus Zachol Olam Haba. Because really a Maisa not done B'Shleimus doesn't really deserve Olam Haba. So you're getting there on a curve, right? But doing one Maisa B'Shleimus Zachol Olam Haba, right? I hope this is clear. This is the point that he wants to make, that being Zachol Olam Haba is totally a Maisa. Learning alone will make you immortal, right? Right, but to be Zochel Olam Haba, right? Doing a Maisa B'Shleimus, right? But he's not getting into the details. There has to be a Maisa B'Shleimus. He's just saying he wants to make the point. You have to do a Maisa. He's going to double down that. Torah's L'Maisa. It is what we've been saying in all our various, for lack of a better word, rants that we've been putting out ever since this war started, since we're allowed to put out rants on Motzei Simchas Torah in America, in Chutzlarts. That Rebbe wants results. He wants Maisa. He doesn't want touchy-feely. He wants results. It's good to get a real vibe, high, low from what's going on. So, but the highs and lows don't really do anything. It's like going out and doing chesed for the soldiers or for any Jew, which that brings schuyot. It's Maisa. Real results, real tangible results, like we have discussed. So you should know, by the way, that which we are saying, right? And the Leshem has a piece on this. Tzadok addresses it also. I can think of one place where he talks about it. But the Leshem addresses that this understanding that there's different relationships of how a person can make it to Olam Haba. People make Olam Haba are not all there on the same basis. Some might be more of a 90% charity basis. Of course, you got to earn. There has to be some element of earning. That's the reason why we were created, to earn the goodness. But it's like you earned, but you should know you're being overpaid. You earned, but you're being overpaid. But you earned. And then there's like you got commensurate with what you did, right? And these different, that not everyone is in Olam Haba on the same basis. Aside the fact, not everyone has the same chelik in Olam Haba. You graded on your performance. But even in the actual entry into Olam Haba, not everyone, is even entry into his chelik on the same basis, as we explained. And that explains the plethora, if that's the right word, like the wide range of so many terms that we find of going to Olam Haba. Yesh Olam Haba, Muftach Lo Shu Ben Olam Haba, Mezuman L'Chai Olam Haba. And the Leshem says each one is describing a different relationship as to a different basis on how you got into Olam Haba. Not everyone who goes even to their own individual chelik is in his own chelik on the same basis necessarily. Your chelik might be 90% charity. Another guy's chelik could be totally earned, and of course there are things in the middle. Okay. But I added all this detail in honor of my Ma's yard site. It should be in the Shema for her, and it should be a schus for Klal Yisrael, and she should be Melech Yosher on Klal Yisrael. Fine, but the main point that he wants to make is that the Iker is Maisa. Rebbe wants results. He doesn't want the academia. He wants results, and that's your Iker, to really be Zochel Haba, to really own your Chelek Haba. And it's 100% like real estate that you paid a fair price for, right? It's only with you do a Maisa, right? And he's bringing more chazals to double down on this point. Oh, Batanis, Perak Shlishi. So now in Tainus, the Gemara Tainus and Perak Shlishi, Daf Chafal from a base. Amar Rabbi Seinu. Chazal say, Abba Umna Have Osi Le Shlama Koyam. He said, Abba, who was a bloodletter. Right? Abba was a kind of medical practitioner of the day, which he specialized in bloodletting, which is considered to be a valid medical practice back in the day. He used to get greetings from the Heavenly Academy, the Mr. every day, some Basco, showing that he's really a holy man, and he is a heavenly type of person. So he gets greetings from the heavenly yeshiva every single day. Abai called Mali Shabbos. So Abai got greetings from the heavenly academy every Erev Shabbos. Rava called Mali did Yom Kippur, and Rava got greetings from every Erev Yom Kippur. So take a look. Abba gets every day, right? 365, right? And Abai only Erev Shabbos. That's 52. And Rava, 52 times a year, every Erev Shabbos, right? And Rava gets greetings from them just once a year on Erev Yom Kippur, right? Why is that? Especially as Abba Umna, he may have been a very good bloodletter, but he's not. You know, he. He's not one of the Amoroyim, right? He lived in that time, but what halacha did Abba Umna teach us? It's you can't put him on the same level as Abaye, so not on the same level of Rava, and that's the main thing that Abaye. Right, so he's going to explain this all, right? First he quotes the Gemara. The Gemara explains why. Abba Umna gets greetings from the Heavenly Academy every day. Abaye only on Erev Shabbos, and Rava even less, only on Erev Yom Kippur. Abaye, felt bad because he's not on the level of Abba Umna. So it doesn't say he was jealous. He was like kind of discouraged because I don't know. There's got to be something really wrong with me, because what does Abba Umna have that I don't got? Really, he just felt bad about that he's not zoche. Right, to get greetings from the Heavenly Academy day and down, only on Erev Shabbos. So I guess he passed on his question to the rabbis, if anyone could explain that to him. They told him, Lo matzis meva ku'uvdei. Said, you don't do good deeds like he does. He was a very, as a doctor, he was a great medical ethics. Everything the Gemara describes over there, great bedside manner. He does good deeds you could never do, because of who he is and his station in life. Basically, he does more good deeds than you. They tell him all the good things they do. Hooray! So now comes. So that's why Abba Umna outdoes Abaye. Hooray! So now let's take it further. So now going about Abaye and Rava. Right, so Abai gets greetings from the Heavenly Academy every Erev Shabbos. Rava only on Erev Yom Kippur. Now we know from throughout Shas, halacha karava, chutz mi'al kagam, shalach Abai. Wherever is a machlokas Abai and Rava, the halacha is like Rava, except for 6 places in the whole Shas. The Gemara already says that. Halacha is always like Rava, except for the Yal Kagam, right? So which would imply that Rava was a bigger Talmud Chacham than Abai. That's what you would think if the halacha is like him all the time, with only 6 exceptions. So I go Maisa Godlu Masa Rava, right? So, but nonetheless, Abaye did more good deeds than Rava. Right, but still, since Abaye's Maisim were bigger, his good deeds were more than Rava's good deeds. Rav was the bigger Talmud Chacham, but Abaye's good deeds were more. Therefore, he got greetings from the Heavenly Academy, right? Every single Erev Shabbos. And Rava, we could safely assume he was the bigger Talmud Chacham if the halacha is like him all the time when he's in machlokas with Abaye, except for 6 times. Yeah, but he wasn't doing as many good deeds as Abaye, and that's why. He only got greetings from the Heavenly Academy on every Erev Yom Kippur. I do believe then the same Gemara, I don't, like I said, a disclaimer, when I learn a sefer with my hands, I'm doing it in real time. I don't look at it ahead of time. I may have an advantage that I may have learned it once, or, I'm acquainted with the concepts, but I'm here reading this together with you, not having prepared. And I speak, whatever I reference, or bring in is, off the top of my head. I do believe that the Gemara also says that's the reason Abaye outlived Rava, even though they were both descended from Eli HaKohen, whose house was cursed, that no one will ever live a long life. Abaye outlived Rava, even though he didn't have a very long life either. He outlived Rava for the same reason that he had more good deeds. Okay. All right. And we have other people like that also, that the Gemara says in times there, that there was all about, to the Maisa, that the Maisim that they do, deeds, good deeds. Now Rabbi Chia gave us the Tosefta. Rabbi Chia is like somewhere in between the Tanoi. He's basically he's yeah, I guess a Tana. It was a Talmud of Rebbe, the uncle of Rav, I do believe, wrote the Tosefta. Pretty big guy, but the Chazal praised him for being the great man he was, for the meisim that he did. Right. Great are the deeds of Rabbi Chia, right? And a few instances of it. Now, one of them that I remember is that Rabbi Chia himself, used to grow the flax, to make nets, to capture deers, to make parchment, to write svarim, that Torah should not be forgotten from Klal Yisrael, right? Like he wasn't just a great Talmid Chacham, but he worked with his hands to ensure that Torah will never be forgotten. He himself, did the hard work, even of just procuring the parchment and writing the books, and also I believe others that he was actively in just create Torah, and that Elpir spread. He himself taught Mikra to 5 orphans, and Mishnah and 6 Mishnah to the 6 orphans, and said, now everyone teach each other, and so he was hands on, Maisa, hands on, right? And as because of the hands on, Gedolim Maisa Chia. Ravuna and also Ravuna, when he wanted to go into the cave where he was buried, and he was going to be barred. The only reason why he was allowed in is because he also did good deeds. And what was the good deeds that he did? He once found that he was wearing a tefillin, and the ritzua flipped over, that the black side, was face down, and the white side, the undyed side, was face up. And because of that, he actually fasted 40 fasts to be mechaper for that mishap that happened to him. Here's a Meresh Kos, it's a Meresh Kos, also in Moy Cotton. Right, so Ravuna also. So it's the deeds that make the real difference. Results, tangible results. Also Tana which are brises that the Eliyahu Navi had taught when he revealed himself to the Tanoim and Amoraim. I do believe there's Amoraim in there also. There's Tana Eliyahu. Like I say, I didn't check up. I can't remember what Tana Eliyahu is exclusively from the era of the Tanoim, but anyways, it's stuff that was learned from Eliyahu Navi. Alapasik Dvori Shanavia. So Dvora was a prophetess. So my son Zohar and the Medrash, as Tanabel says, why? She wasn't she was a prophetess. B, she actually was a judge, and Pinchas was still alive. Pinchas, who learned directly from Moshe Rabbeinu, and she attained great prominence and prophecy and prominence even in Pinchas's lifetime. Right, and it says because and she got her levels, her prophecy and her prestige, all from good deeds that she should do. Now, this is, and these are the actual words of the Torah of the what was so good about her that she was the prophetess that said prophecy for Am Yisrael, and she also judged them. Hello, Pinchas Pinchas, the son of Elazar, who was a Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu, was still alive, and still she grabbed stage center, was the leading prophet, and then there was the judge, right? So it says, the Talmud of Eliyahu made on the Elias. So Shema, I testify. This must be Eliyahu Navi talking. I'm guessing. I bring as witnesses that I'm telling the truth. the heaven and earth themselves. Ben Nochid ben Yisrael, Ben Yisrael, Ben Ben Shivcha, right? That be it a guy, be it a Jew, be it a man, be it a woman, be it an Eved or be it a Shivcha, a male servant or a maid servant. Hakol fi masharam ruach hakodesh, depending on their good deeds, ruach hakodesh, dwells upon them. It makes sense what the Talmud is saying. Even a guy who has the requisite good deeds could become a prophet. Even Eved, even a Shivcha, who aren't even fully Jewish. I assume about Eved Kanani, Shivcha Kananis. Hakofi Masharam Ruach, you can, the deeds make all the difference, and a person with their good deeds could merit Ruach HaKodesh, the divine inspiration, which leads into prophecy. Amru, they said like this: right, right. The husband of Dvorah was not a Talmud Chacham; he was an Amoritz. Amru, but Torah tells him, look, he wasn't good at learning, right? So, but she tells him this: right? Right. So and so she tells him, right, right, that listen, I'm going to make wicks. I'm going to make wicks, and listen, you bring them to the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan in Shiloh, right? Listen, because you bring wicks, it'll give you a connection to the good people there, right? And that way you'll get to Olam Haba, because you're not getting there on the power of your learning. I'll make wicks. You bring them to the Beis Hamikdash as a contribution, and then the wicks will be used to light up everything, and then you'll have and that way you'll have an association with the good people there, right? And maybe that spiritual, this good deed and connection to the Chachamim there will get you to Olam Haba. Yosef Psilos, so she used to make the wicks. He brought them to the Beis Hamikdash. Now this guy, her husband, had three different names: Barak, Umichael, Vilapidot. He was called Barak, and we find elsewhere he was called Michal, and third is called Lapidot. Why was he called, these three different names? Barak, I'll change Barak, the Barak, Barak also means lightning, right? His face, like this guy, because of the good deeds that Devorah facilitated for him, so he got a face that shined like lightning. Michal shu mamnech es atzmo, Hashem Malach, and he's called Michal because he was very humble. There's one version, Darach, but another version, Hashem Malach, but he was called Michal because he looked like an angel. So, right? Lapidos, right? So he was called Lapidos because Dvorah is called Ashes Lapidos, right? Lapidos literally means torches. Hashem also but so torture means because his wife made the wicks of which they could make light like a torch. Now she used to intentionally, aside from doing the but intentionally also make very thick wicks. Kadesha Oran Meruba, right? That these wicks should give off a lot of light. Indeed, so even if it was a single wick, it was such a thick wick, it used to shine like a torch. And Akosh, he knows what's going on in the heart and in the kidneys. He knows what you're really thinking deep down. Akosh tells Dvorah, Dvorah, you intended, you shouldn't just make thick wicks because it was too lazy to make a lot of thin wicks. No, she made thick on purpose to give off light. So it says, you intentionally wanted to increase my light. I'm going to increase your light in Judah and in Yerushalayim. Right? Right? Like the 12 tribes. Right? You're going to have so much light, parallel to the 12 tribes. So now who was the one? So now, Lapidos. Right. Ultimately, because he used to bring these things to Beit Midrash and hang out with the good people there. He himself became a great person. He was a general, right? Barak ben Avinoam was one of the general that defeated Sisera, right? So what caused Lapidus to be, but hang around with the good people, and thus he himself became one of the good guys. And subsequently he went not so just good, but he himself got to Lamava, him and Dvara Ishto, Dvara his wife, brought him all that merit. Right, and on her it said, the wisdom of the woman builds the house. Right? No, she built that, the spiritual house. That her good deeds made him a good guy, right? And got him to become be amongst the good guys and be Zochat Olam Haba. And she herself, certainly, as we learned earlier, Gara Ma'asi, Osman Osa, is doing the action as an individual. Then you do an action that causes other people to be good and other people to do good actions. That's even greater. So she was like that. And that's called the wisdom of the woman built the house. But referring to Izebel, Queen Izebel, that was a wicked queen, and she, as bad as Achav was, she made him worse, right? She really was. She was bad news. Izebel, really a bad woman. Killed all the Nevi'im of Hashem, supported all the Nevi'im of Odazar. So Ivel's Biadat, but the stupid woman, or the woman that has stupidity in her hands, she's the one who ruins the house. She really caused the house of Achav to be decimated. These are the words of the Tana de Be'elio. Right? Right? Okay. So, so now finally getting to a Zohar. You don't go a whole page. Right, you don't go a whole page with of Reishis Chochma without getting to a shtick Zohar. And with this Zohar that we're going to learn, then we're going to call today because we're going to do Mulefes Sapirim very soon. Right, so, and the Zohar should be Machal the Koitzim, right, the Kotzim and Tznidim, right, which are the Palestinians, and save us from Chevlei Mashiach, save our soldiers from Chevlei Mashiach, and get us out of the Ghost Barachamim. Ubazar Parshas Truma Muraboseinu Zal. Right? In the Zohar Parshas Truma, our rabbi say, the mitzvahs of the Torah. It's the mitzvahs, the maisim, the mitzvahs of the Torah cause a person to complete, to perfect his ruach and his neshama in this world, and in the world to come. Right? A Raisa Mizaka, the Torah also causes a person to inherit two worlds, Amadei, this world and the world to come. Anyone who's Amel B'Torah is really like being Amel in life, right? Because Torah is life. Chaim by Alma, Chaim by Alma Dasi, it's life in this world, it's life, it's also the life in this world. Ishtazev Mikol Unzin, it saves you from all mishaps. Kohen's ambition, all bad mishaps. Right? The all bad mishaps or all bad people cannot have any control over him. And so Zok the Zor. And if that's just in your Amelus Patera, that already you get life in this world, life in the next world, and with just the Hishtalis, the being Amelus Patera, not Art Scroll, but real Amelus Patera, right? You get saved from all bad stuff. That's just with the learning. Kolshkein manda ovid uvda. How much more so? How much more so if you actually do a maisa, right? The mitzvah satara, you actually not. Akal shonam. So now he's going to have a long paragraph unpacking this Zohar. So maybe we'll start from the Zohar again next time, but we can't go a day without doing some Zohar. Speaking of which, I have to click off to give me some breathing space because I have to do my others, Zohar-based book, the Mulefes Sapirim next, because Am Yisrael needs the schus. So we both should help. Everyone should have a good Shabbos. And the schus of Shabbos is Ki Eshmer Shabbos Kel Yishmereni, right? We're Shomer Shabbos. Hashem guards. He's Shomer us, and we Shomer our soldiers. And all this should also be a schus my Mazel Yis and Shama, and Shemel Tzosha. We should see Yeshua Yisrael Tekef Umiyad. This should be the second Shabbos that Ilmoy Shosh Teshos Miyad Nigolim. Amen. Ken you Rotzen. Good Shabbos, everybody.